So for this video, guys, we'll look at PA boot comeback, and we're going to show you a 3 levels concept that's very similar to a PA crossers or a PA boot, but we're going to run it out of this formation. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the A on a drag, motion him to the left, and put the B on a streak, block your running back. So it's going to look like this. So you have the 3 levels concept, the A, the Y, and the X. That's going to be pretty demanding on your user, depending on what type of coverage they're doing. So first thing I want to show you here is if we're going against cloud flats, what you're really looking for in the most part is the high-low between the A and the Y. The X receiver is just a helpful route in case they go ahead and they are covering the Y route manually, right? So the first route you're going to see is the A. He comes across the field, you see that he's open, throw it to him, get yourself 4 or 5 yards, right? That's typically the throw that you're looking for. Obviously that guy made a good hit, but that's really what you're looking for on that instance. I'll show it to you again, just so you can see it when it comes to, the first route combination, right? So that's the guy, he comes across the field, you see him, throw it to him, get yourself your yards, right? That's the quick hitter, the blitz speeder, right? Now, if they're in underneath coverage and that guy's not open, that's when you're looking at hitting the crossing pattern, which is going to be the Y. So here we go again. A goes across the field. As he open, the guy knows he jumps it. All right, now we're going to wait for the Y. Y is open. We're going to get some good yards, right? So it's typically the high-low of it. Now, what most people are going to do, and we want to bait them into this, is that they're going to cover this Y route across the field with their user, right? It's kind of one of those routes that it kind of invites you to do it. So I want to make sure that you understand that. And when that happens, the X route's going to be your friend, okay? What I mean by that is that the X is going to help you out. Now, there's 2 things about the X. One, we can smart route them, and it's going to be a shorter route. So that can help you with the break and the timing of it. But the second part about it is, depending on what they're doing with their cover 3, whether they're playing inverted or traditional, the guys are going to play the route differently, and it's a good indication of us knowing what they're in, because if they're in a traditional cover 3, then we're going to want to bomb them later, right? So let me show you here. This is traditional cover 3, meaning that they've got the outside corners in deep thirds rather than deep halves, right? So watch what happens here. You're going to see that, say the guy goes across the field. Now the X is going to be your throw with the inside position, right? Basically, we know that this player is going to shadow him on traditional cover 3, this corner. So you're still going to have inside position. You're still going to be able to throw it to him. And, having a good receiver there obviously is going to help as far as being able to hold on to the ball. However, if they're playing inverted coverage, this is really where you're going to be able to make this a little bit better, right? So basically what I'm doing here is I'm simulating that they're going to cover the cross across the field with their user. It doesn't matter if it's the right user or the left user, just the user on that player. And what we're going to do here is we're going to look at this X receiver, and what you'll see is now that it's an inverted coverage, no one's going to cover him across the field, right? And that's going to make a much easier throw, and the user's not going to be able to cover the cross and the actual short post from the left-hand side, because he's got to worry about the cross. So I'll show you an instant replay, just kind of understand a little bit more what I'm talking about. These guys were put on inverted coverage. They're now on deep halves, those corners. So what ends up happening here is that when the Y goes over and the user has to cover him across the field, at this point we're going to know, do we want to throw it to him or not, depending on where the user is. See how there's a big gap between the two? So if you're going to be able to throw it to him, there's the throw. You can wait a little bit, you can throw it right away. Either or, if we get them to have to cover the cross all the way across the field, then we're going to be able to throw it to behind the player. If the player is kind of playing in between those players, he's never going to get to the cross. The other cross, even as if it's a user, he has to really be on this to cover it. And we're going to be able to throw that as the backdoor throw. So that's why I like this play a little bit. It definitely gives you the options to attack where the user has to do, kind of get in their brain what they have to do to stop it. And, if they're not going to cover the cross is your player. But when I'm playing this, I'm usually not throwing it to the cross, because most users are going to cover that cross if you're playing any type of higher level player.